Hi, Total Recaps here. Today we will be going through the events of the 2021 fantasy adventure movie The Green Knight, directed by David Lowery. Warning, this video contains spoilers, so watch at your own risk. Now let's get right into the movie. As the movie starts, Gawain wakes up after Essel, a common girl, splashes water on his body in the brothel on the morning of Christmas. On the way out, one of the girls asks him to be a knight soon, to which Gawain replies that he has had a lot of time for that. Gawain's mother interrogates him about where he was all night. As he gets ready to go to the king's feast, his mother tells him that she is not attending it and asks him to tell him what he sees in the merry. As the feast starts, Gawain's mother and some other women start conducting a ritual in a tower simultaneously. The king, Gawain's uncle, calls for him while he is amongst the knights enjoying the feast. The king pulls Gawain to sit beside them. He tells Gawain that despite being his sister's son, Gawain is closest family member. The king regrets not getting close to Gawain before and asks him to tell his tale so he will know him better. Gawain gets speechless for a moment and says that he has nothing to tell about. Then the queen comforts him by adding that he has nothing to tell yet. The queen also warns Gawain not to sit idle among the knights. As the king rises to address the gathering, Gawain's mother blindfolds herself and writes something on a piece of paper and seals it. The king talks about being lucky, surrounded by the mighty knights, and asks any one of them to regale the king and queen with their myth. On the other side, Gawain's mother stands up and drops the letter in the middle of the branches, which burns magically as it touches the ground. Soon, a plant sprouts from the ashes. Simultaneously, the door to the king's hallway opens at once, and the Green Knight is seen. As he comes in, the candles go off, and all the knights rise from their seats with their swords drawn. The knight raises and shows a plant he carried to the king. The king calls the man in after conforming to no threat. The knight goes in front of the king and hands him a letter similar to the one written by Gawain's mother. The queen opens the letter and pans heavily as she sees it. The letter states that the Green Knight challenges any knights in the hall to blow him with honor who will win his armor a giant axe. The knight further mentions that one should find him in the Green Chapel the next Christmas and bend to get the blow in return. As the queen completes reciting him, she falls to the ground at once and the letter falls off her hand and burns off. The king expresses that he wishes to accept the challenge if his body was fine. He asks if there is anyone in the hall to meet the knight's terms. After a long silence, Gawain voices his acceptance of the challenge. The king then whispers to Gawain about it just being a game and hands him his mighty sword. The Green Knight comes forth and puts his axe in front of Gawain and bends himself down. However, Gawain does not understand it and just murmurs. He cuts the knight's neck and detaches the body in a panic, announcing not to forget what happened in the hall on the day of Christmas. The knight's body rises, picks up the head, which reminds him of 1 year ago, and goes away laughing. The hall then applauds Gawain for his bravery. As the year passes, people gossip about Gawain's tale of how bravely he chopped the giant's head off. People see a marionette of Gawain and the Green Knight. One day, the king comes to Gawain and reminds him of the Christmas game he accepted to play with the Green Knight. Gawain comments if death awaits him there. The king says that he is not aware of it, since he does not acknowledge a single man marching to his death. The king asks for greatness from Gawain, who suspects himself of being made for greatness. The marionette then shows the Green Knight chopping Gawain's head off, which the people see in dismay. As Gawain prepares for the journey to the Green Chapel, his mother sews a waistband uttering magic spells. While Gawain questions if he will return, she assures him that he won't be harmed till he possesses it. Essel hands Gawain one of her bangles and asks if Gawain will make him his lady after his return. Gawain then starts his journey to the Green Chapel on his horse for days and nights. While Gawain passes through a jungle, he stops to see a red fox looking at him, which soon runs away. As he moves, he comes to meet a boy in a field full of dead bodies. The boy tells him that he is searching for his two brothers who died in the battle. Gawain asks if the boy knows about the Green Chapel. The boy explains the direction of a stream that leads him to a chapel. He asks Gawain to spare him something for his tip. Gawain gives him a coin and moves while the boy tells him to remember the stream as it can get tricky. Next, Gawain walks his horse to the forest where he sees an armed girl. As he tries to turn back, he finds himself surrounded by another man who seems like a thief. They quickly catch Gawain, who begs him to leave him. Then the same boy who Gawain met in the field. The boy cuts the waistband and takes it with him. They tie Gawain to his hands and feet and gag his mouth. The boy takes out the giant axe and moves away on the horse, talking about fulfilling Gawain's quest. As they leave, Gawain gets a hallucination of turning into a skeleton if he does nothing. So he struggles to push his body towards the sword and reaches for it in great toil. He slides the sword between his hands and pushes it hard to cut the rope and free his hands. He finally frees himself and runs forward to find himself surrounded by mist. Gawain runs ahead and finds a stream nearby. As he drinks water, he discovers a small cottage across the stream. But when he goes inside, he finds no one there. He falls asleep and gets awakened by a girl's voice who asks him what he is doing in her bed. Gawain quickly apologizes and tries to leave, but the girl stops him and takes him to a pond. The girl then says that she lost her head inside the pond after a knight chopped it off and threw it in there. Gawain dives into the pond and comes out with a skull. As he gets to the ground, he finds a skeleton on the bed. The skull falls off his hand as he gets surprised, which turns into the girl's head. The skull talks about him helping on his journey. Gawain picks up the skull and puts it with the skeleton. As he walks out, he sees his stolen giant axe and takes it with him. Gawain struggles to carry the axe's heavy weight as he walks to his destination. He gets into a cave and tries to light some fire with stones to warm himself. Suddenly, he sees the fox looking towards him and calls it in. They both sleep together side by side. The fox moves together with Gawain through rough terrain and slippery rocks. While passing through the hills, Gawain sees a large human figure and rushes towards it. As he reaches the top, many giant human figures are seen walking away. Gawain calls one of them and asks for their direction. The man sees them in surprise and tries to grasp Gawain by the hand. Just then, the fox comes forth and barks at it. It starts howling, which is intimidated by the man. The vocalizing continues as Fox and Gawain follow the giants. One night, Gawain sees a house ahead and enters it. He collapses to the ground unconscious when a lord welcomes him. Gawain wakes up the next day and panics upon finding the lord cleaning his forehead with a cloth. The lord utters his name and informs him of the date being December 21st. He asks Gawain to rest and eat while saying that he knows more about Gawain. As they walk to the kitchen, Gawain is taken aback when he sees a woman whose face resembles that of Essel. The lord introduces her as his lady. They sit at the dining table with a woman whose eyes are blindfolded. While the lady asks about Gawain's day, he says that he will leave after eating for his appointment. The lord interrupts him and tells him that since the Green Chapel is not far, they will send him on the morning of Christmas. He insists on Gawain's resting till then. Gawain visits the house and looks at the portraits hung in amazement. In one of the portraits, he notices a red fox leading a man on a horse through the woods. He goes to the library and looks for books. The lady appears and gives him a book. The lady says that she wants to make his portrait and asks for him to sit for it. While Gawain looks at the portrait, the lady comes to him and snatches the locket that Essel handed him. Outside, the lord brings prey for Gawain's return home after accomplishing the journey. The lord puts to Gawain a proposal whereby he will bring the best prey from the forest if Gawain wills to return what he receives in the house. The lady interrupts him and asks if they know why the Green Knight is green and not the other color. The lady explains that green is the color lust leaves behind. She also says that green symbolizes what is left after ardor fades and once people die. The lord asks what Gawain expects in return from the journey, to which he replies that every knight does things for honor. Next, while Gawain is asleep, the lady comes and feels his body. She starts moving her hand over his naked body while Gawain feels it awkward. He sees the waistband around her waist and asks in surprise where she got it. The lady says that she made it and explains that the one who wears it is never harmed. She then offers him the waistband in exchange for sharing their bodies. As the lady leaves, Gawain discovers the blindfolded woman watching everything from the corner. Gawain gets astonished and quickly dresses to run to the woods. There he is stopped by the lord. The lord says that Gawain has something to give him and kisses him. As Gawain moves, the lord hands him the fox, who walks forward with Gawain. They reach a stream ahead as they walk. The fox moves in front of Gawain and snarls at him. While Gawain tries to forge ahead, the fox talks and warns him not to go ahead. It suggests that Gawain leave his quest there and get back, which no one would know except itself. The fox points at the waistband and tells him he is the type of man to leave here. The fox tempts Gawain to leave the waistband, to which Gawain gets annoyed and swirls his axe towards it, but it runs away to avoid the blow. In the next scene, Gawain rows a small boat and goes to the stream. There he sees a wooden cross and walks up to the woods beyond it. Finally, he finds the Green Chapel and looks inside it to find the Green Knight. He moves forward to the knight and rests his axe on a staircase. Gawain sits down and looks at the knight, who shows no movement. He then falls asleep sitting there. The sound of leaves rustling and wood creaking awakens Gawain. The Green Knight opens his eyes and asks Gawain if it's Christmas. While Gawain responds affirmatively, the knight stands and picks the axe. The knight asks if Gawain is there to return the blow he made to the knight. The knight then asks Gawain to kneel and complete their game. Getting terrified, Gawain kneels and grunts softly while the knight raises his axe. The knight stops and asks Gawain if he flinched while facing Gawain's blow a year ago. Gawain holds the ground firmly in his fist and breathes heavily while his heart beats rapidly. Though he announces that he is ready, he stops the knight and stands up while the knight raises the axe to strike him. He then kneels and prepares himself for the third time. Just then, Gawain experiences a vision. In the vision, Gawain cries and runs out of the Green Chapel while the knight attempts to kill him. There, he finds his horse outside and rides it to his home. Next, Gawain's mother cures his body wounds with warm water. He also shares love with Essel and the king knighthoods him. After the king dies, Gawain is throned. He also sees that after Essel gives birth to a baby boy, he takes the boy and abandons Essel. Gawain then marries a beautiful girl from a well-to-do family. As time passes, Gawain's son dies in a battle. His kingdom starts falling and people lose faith in him. The kingdom is attacked and everyone starts leaving it. The family members, along with the queen, leave Gawain. Finally, Gawain pulls the waistband out of his body. As soon as it comes out, his head gets detached from the body and the blood spills out. At the end of the movie, Gawain gets back to his vision where the knight is about to chop off his head. He stops the knight and takes out his waistband. Gawain seems confident and announces that he is ready. Seeing it, the knight kneels and praises Gawain for his bravery. The Green Knight touches Gawain's neck and says, "Off with your head," while the movie ends. And that was my recap of the movie. Hope you enjoyed it. Now comment on what your favorite part was and make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, take care and goodbye.